Very good. All right, everybody, let's talk about Lofty. Let's talk about rates. Rates are like fluctuating. They're down, then they're up. I think they're up again. And now applications for mortgages are down, which I think we're going to just see a continued up and down. But still, there's a lot of opportunity here. And with elections coming in, it's it always throws a wrench into everything. But the opportunity's still there. Brady, let's start with you as far as Lofty and opportunity. Where are you seeing the opportunities with this?
Yeah, I mean, there's five strategies that we'll be talking about today to help agents be successful with these trends of decreasing rates and ideally some more inventory coming online, right? Some more mortgage requests. But I think where we're seeing the opportunity is finding those strategic partnerships with folks in your ecosystem, folks like a lender, right? Some of the grassroots marketing strategies like direct mail marketing, I think, is going to become really important again for dominating a particular neighborhood. Also approaching your database a little bit differently, right? I think we get spun around the idea of I need to get more buyers, I need to get more sellers, but the challenge I think would be to help attack your database as more of who are my homeowners and who are my renters and how do I market to those folks a little bit differently. So lots of different things that we can cover over the course of our time together, and I'm super excited to help show how Lofty can make that happen.
All right, let's do that. But first, Robert, what do you think the opportunity is right now that we're missing in the current market? Because you're in Florida, you've got a team that covers, I don't know, half the United States, and you guys do quite well. But what's the opportunity, man?
In regards to the interest rate side of things,
In
or
regards
just
to the current market that we're in, because you're in different markets, so I'm assuming different opportunities in those different markets. Some are high in inventory, some are low in inventory. What are you seeing overall the main place we need to focus on?
well, in general, at its core is still a sales business. And if you're a real estate agent and you are incapable of making the sale, the initial sale is not when you put the for sale sign in the yard. It's when you go on the listing consultation or the buyer presentation. So if you can't make that initial sale, you never earn the right to provide them your services. And so, regardless of what's going on in the marketplace, at its core is still your ability, your effectiveness as a salesperson. So the core consistency is your ability to identify the gap in the market and effectively make an offer that's compelling to your clients that they would be stupid to say no to.
Dude, that covers everything. I love it. We're done. There you go, everyone. That was beautifully said. Robert, thank you. Adam, how about you? What do you think the opportunity is?
I think the opportunity is taking a deeper dive into the conversations that we're having with our database and namely the prospects, right before, like Robert mentioned, getting that appointment for consultation. I think a lot of the marketing and a lot of the follow-up I see is very like surface level stuff. And when you have a better understanding of the market and how that is going to affect your clients, having a conversation to that level, whether it's utilizing smart plans in Lofty, whether it's using other features in Lofty, or just that face-to-face conversation there, I think getting deeper than everybody else in the market is going to not only help position you as the expert that you are, but it's also going to do the number one thing in this business, which is help people. So I think focusing on not only like the right conversations, but being able to articulate why this change or why this market situation is going to affect somebody, and more namely how that is going to affect somebody. I think that's really a missed opportunity I see pretty consistently.
Dude, I like that. In fact, if you want to go further with that, it'd probably be creating specific, in this case, smart plans inside of Lofty that address those challenges. So I like that. All right, Brady, where do you want to take us with this today?
Well, let's go ahead and pull up a couple things here to help shape our conversation. Again, the topic of this webinar is about empowering our viewers to be more successful with these falling interest rates. And I think the first place that I'd want to start is kind of tying back to something that Robert had said just a few minutes ago with how do we get more listing presentations, right? How do we engage in more of these conversations that actually produce the result we want, which is planting that for sale sign? And one of those strategies would be leveraging that direct mail marketing, right? Postcards, newsletters, flyers, showing up more so than just a strong digital presence in order to resonate with a particular community, right? How do you dominate a neighborhood? And I think that the first topic should be about direct mail marketing. So I'd love to open it up and maybe ask Adam, ask Robert, what are you guys doing now in terms of direct mail marketing? And are we changing any of our collateral to be better positioned for these falling interest rates?
So what I'm doing is I've been basically taking my smart plan content and using that as ad copy to build out direct mail campaigns. And one of the main points of conversation I have, especially with sellers, is like a lot of sellers realize they start off as buyers, buyer leads, because they're looking for replacement property first, and that's going to help determine whether they actually sell or whether they're just going to sit tight and wait it out. The other thing, as of the last few years, and one of the things I talk about in my smart plan content is, they're probably looking at like holding on to a 2 to 4% mortgage right now, dealing with maybe a 6 or 7%, maybe dipping into the high fives right now. So if that's what's basically preventing them from selling, even though they really want to sell, to take advantage of the higher prices they can probably command, like we have a solution for that. We have a strategy for that. So let's get in touch. Let's talk about that, and having that individual, instead of just like this blast about like, interest rates are lower, you're going to save money, come hire me as your agent. Like, let's actually get down to it and show you with numbers and show you with strategy exactly what I mean, and put that, something you can hold on to, right? Tangibility is trustability. So kind of taking the same thing, borrowing my conversation I'm having in the smart plans, and just moving that to a different material, right? Like everything that we have, from lead generation to follow-up to consultation and walking with the clients, all of that is just a continuance of the conversation we just had before. So I found that borrowing and repurposing, video content for other things, make a long YouTube video, you use it for shorts, same thing. You got ad copy in your lead gen, you've got follow-up scripts in your smart plans, using those and reworking them and repurposing them to leverage the same message in the print mailing and direct mail marketing through Lofty. You get that same result, and that consistency is going to be trustability.
Adam, quick follow-up for you on that, right? We mentioned taking a lot of the collateral you're using in your smart plans. One thing that I've seen a lot of Lofty clients do is incorporate postcards and direct mail into their smart plans. Is that something that you're noticing as well as a trend that's increasing, right? We do automatic emails and automatic text message as a part of drips. Yep. That's the way everybody thinks about automations. But do you think that that's changing a little bit to incorporate showing up on someone's front doorstep as well?
Absolutely. Especially when it comes to Lofty and the smart plan specifically, you can do postcards and you can do letters. You can mix them up. You set the timing however you want to. You can set them up as like I like taking a page out of Tristan's book that he calls a nudge text, or like a nudge email. So referring back to the information that how I typically use it, I use a nudge text or a nudge email to refer them to information that I want them to get, because I have trackability with it, right? Send them a text, hey, did you catch that email I sent you a few minutes ago? Because when they open that email, Lofty tracks that open activity in the system. When they scan a QR code from the direct mail piece that I sent them, I can track the activity in Google Analytics to see how many people are actually going to that landing page that I have linked to that QR code with Lofty. So I like trying to use the smart plan not only to convey the value of information and knowledge that I have, but also as a way to use different strategies to push people and encourage people to go to where I can basically get some sort of feedback with data to see what's actually more effective. So, and like the thing too is, like, one thing I like about text messaging is you don't have a spam or a junk folder to deal with, right? Well, one of the things where print and direct mail marketing is better in some ways than text messaging, I don't have to worry about like carrier rules and, text spamming and unsubscribing. Like unless they're standing out in the middle of the yard, they can't they can't prevent that from going in the mailbox. It's going to be going in the mailbox, and then just making it compelling and attention getting enough to let them read it or make them read it, and a few tricks there. But yeah, definitely all that stuff can be done through smart plans.
Dude, I like it. I actually didn't think about creating a whole process of mailers that are similar to smart plans until you said
Yeah,
it. I was like,
pepper all that stuff in, especially with like FISBOs and things like that, where instead of having this huge, attachment situation with a smart plan email, kick out a postcard with a QR code and hey, here's the top 10 seller tips on how to prepare your home, right? Like just helping them get some basic information in a concise manner. And one of the things I do is I created a few different Facebook business pages so I can have additional pixels. And when I build landing pages in Lofty, I use it with just the header and the footer, and I have the analytics and the separate Facebook pixel saved in there, and I just copy that landing page template over and over again, depending on what I want to track. So then using a landing page specific for, let's say, like FISBOs or expireds, and having that separate tracking there, when they land on that landing page, that Facebook pixel tags them, and now I can create a custom audience on Facebook and retarget them specifically, those people that actually came to that landing page, so I can retarget them differently than I can retarget somebody else that's just generally in the database. So you can do some fun things with it.
got it. I like that. What about you, Robert? What are you guys doing with mailers, if anything?
Well, first, to set the table, I think inventory, or excuse me, listings will be pinnacle over the next few years. Lack of inventory is going to be the biggest constraint on our industry moving forward. We're currently down about 4.5 million homes in terms of shortage, which stems from the 2008 Great Recession, but it's been compounded by a multitude of factors since then. And on top of that, COVID actually made it even worse, because not only were we spending out the wazoo, interest rates went to historic lows at the same time that people were buying in a frenzy. 76% of people now have an interest rate below 5%. And so that's going to be now an additional limitation. Not just do we have a constraint on inventory, but people are now locked into their current residence. So when those listing opportunities do become available, they'll be diamonds in the rough, and you really have to be effective at identifying them, converting them, and capturing them. In terms of direct mail, what I would say is, like I said in my first answer, I believe the core is your ability to construct an offer and communicate it to the marketplace. These are all different strategies that you can choose to communicate that. Direct mail can work, which is why many of the largest mortgage companies do it like gangbusters. But if you choose direct mail, you have to be committed to it, and you actually have to be effective at doing it. I don't believe that the average, what we would call direct mail from an agent, is effective, like just listed, just sold postcards. Literally, the name is direct response marketing. What response are you trying to elicit just by saying, hey, I just listed this house? Give them a specific offer that would induce them to actually come to a landing page, or to come to register, or to call you. So in order for you to be effective at direct response, direct mail marketing, what I would suggest you do is take a small portion of your operating budget and put it into different social media ads, shoot different videos, and see what drives greater click rates and greater registration rates. So then you can basically do low cost market research, and then you put that into postcards, and then deploy those as additional strategy, which will be more capital intensive and requires consistency.
I like that. All right, Brady, what's next?
Love it. Next one would be what actually Robert would also alluded to just now, which is the co-marketing with a lender, right? We recently did a webinar on Lab Code Agents about this topic, but I think now more than ever, it's really important to pool an advertising budget in order to do things like direct mail marketing consistently, right? To co-brand yourself with a lender in order to stand out. So partnering with a lender in these times will help set up agents better for success by being able to expand their database and who they're marketing to, right? Maybe collaborating more efficiently with folks like lenders in their database. But I'd love to hear from Adam and from Robert what we're doing now, or maybe how we're thinking about this relationship a little differently.
We have a slightly different attack. I believe, not to contradict you, to underscore it, I believe collaboration between agents and the mortgage side of things is even more important. And maybe not for the reason that most people think. The reason from my standpoint is real estate agents have the opportunity to provide direct value throughout the transaction, whether it's on the purchase side or the sale side. That may last 30, 60, 90 days, the duration of the transaction, but they will live in that house for a lot longer than that. And so if real estate agents only look at themselves as being purely transactional, they're therefore handicapping the amount of value they can provide to that client. The second you align with a lender that can help them get additional benefits, lower rates, free refinances, and there's a lot more things that you can mix in there, then it opens a lot more value that you can actually be providing to them. So that way, like for example, we run a mortgage entity called Moxie, and our agents use it as a utility to provide a lot more value. One of those pieces of value is no cost refinances. So if people have an impediment, like you just said at the opening of this webinar, mortgage applications are down. They're down because interest rates went back up about 50 bips. Well, why? That could be a great opportunity for you to get off the sidelines when there's not a lot of competition, get the house you want, and then when rates fall, refinance at no cost. And that would be a perk that you could get just because that agent is aligned with, for example, Moxie. So there's a whole other world that you guys can play in if you play essentially chess and not checkers. And so to further underscore what you're saying, Brady, I think aligning with an effective lender that has true value that you can leverage will make you even more valuable as an agent.
Very true. Good point, man. I like that. I agree with you, by the way. I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Adam,
and
do you
even-
have a co-marketing campaign strategy with lenders?
So I did back in Wisconsin. So I moved to Florida a few months back, and haven't gotten my Florida license here yet. So I'm kind of in limbo down here. But I have actually started at least networking with lenders and at least kind of getting that situation figured out as far as once I'm ready to rock and roll down here. Back in Wisconsin, one of the things I did was I purposely sought out a mortgage broker, because one of the things I found talking with a lot of lenders and things, especially when I was a new agent a few years ago, they don't really have they're almost like one trick pony kind of things in a lot of ways with the smaller ones. In Wisconsin, a lot of people are really used to like, well, I'm just going to go to my local bank, and because they like that local touch, right? Instead of something regional or even national that could even provide different mortgage products. So picking a lender partner that has the options and the flexibility to do what they need to do for the clients that you serve is really helpful. One of the things that was really me is really fortunate to find this mortgage broker where VA loans are not really their specialty, but I have never found anybody in the state that does it better than them. They go from application from clear to close in 14 calendar days on a typical Tuesday. Like that's lunch for them. That it's not a problem. Everything is pre-underwritten as part of the approval process, and they fix more VA loans from other lenders and get it done in usually 7 to 10 calendar days, which is amazing. And it's like, okay, that's what I need. So having those probably where it's like, any VA loan, it's like, listen here, go to whoever you want, but make sure this broker is also in your list, because they can get done what needs to get done. And then all the other kind of like what Robert said, they have all the different products too through the life of you owning that home. If you need something, they've got a product and they've got loan experts that will be able to handle that situation and guide you to exactly what you need when you need and have those solutions. So you don't really have to think or worry. It's right there for you. It's just the one-stop shop kind of an operation. So having those where you've got the flexible lender products to help your clients with whatever they need is been really beneficial. So I'm hoping to find that in Florida here as well. So.
All right, I like that. Let me address a couple of things. One, this is recorded. It'll go into our YouTube channel. We'll put up the link again there so you can watch the replay. It should be up in about 2 hours. Number two, we're barely on strategy number two, so we are going to go over by about 10, 15 minutes, so don't worry. And you know what? I'll throw in a third one here for you. While we were talking about number one strategy, which was the farming and what we do, in 2020, I created a simple campaign that allowed us to then build out this massive campaign in Malibu. I put up the Google Doc there so you guys can look at it and be inspired. What I would do is I would go to your lender, or if you don't have one, Robert's got a great company. And I'd reach out to somebody like Robert and be like, hey, let's brainstorm together. I want to be able to use Lofty to create these direct mailers. Here's some ideas. Maybe we should both go on ChatGPT and figure out something, or start with that Google Doc. That's why I put it up there, and then go from there. But I think when you're teaming up with a lender, you just don't have their money. Like, hey, give me some money so we can do this together. It's getting their experience, getting their ideas of what to put on this stuff that could actually motivate people to get back to you. And really together you can come up with something beautiful like we've done. So anyway, just wanted to add that. Brady, what's number three?
Number three, we're talking all about social media. So within the Lofty platform, we make it very seamless for an agent or a team or a brokerage to connect all of their social media profiles right to the Lofty platform. So, you know, you don't need to sign into Facebook to update a post and then go into Instagram, go into X, go into your LinkedIn, right? The intent is set up social media within our system, and then with one click, automatically post across up to 6 different social media channels. So we're trying to help agents become more proactive across social to try and find net new organic leads, free leads, but also to help build and cement their reputation as the local area expert. So leveraging social media right now, I think is going to be incredibly important, both from a paid marketing perspective, but also just from organic leads and extending your reach. So I'd love to hear about how folks are leveraging their social media right now to try and drum up some more listings, some more relationships with sellers, homeowners that are thinking about buying that second home, all that fun stuff.
I like that. It wants to take this first.
Go ahead, Adam.
Adam, I could take it too if you want. And then you
Yeah, if you because unfortunately, like I know how to use the social studio and the social studio growth, I think they call it now.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of a rebel in the real estate marketing era, and I do not really focus on social media marketing.
Yeah.
For my
I
business, I take a little bit different approach, but
That's fine. And you do a great job, by the way. So I've
Thank
seen your stuff. So I think here, what I'd like to add on the social media marketing plan, it's important to have things go out routinely, like you have the ability to do here. We have this for our brokerage. We have this piece specifically. We added and we were like, everyone at the brokerage gets this because it was so important. And that's the ability for us to promote all of our listings, all of our coming soons, if you're able to do that, right, with certain areas, and all of the information that we need to have for what's important to the consumer. And it usually comes down to properties. But what we don't do is we don't just leave it up to that to describe where we're at or to tell the story of our company. What we do that works extremely well, and I think this is where everybody misses the point, Brady, is that this is only part of the plan of the multi-channel campaign. The other part is going in there and showing your face, talking about the current market, like Robert was saying. Like, let's talk about how this benefits you or how this is not so good, but here's what we're going to do about it, right? Let's explain what's happening to our audience with this. And I think that combo creates the effects of what you want, which at the end, what do we want? We want closings from this. That's it.
Yeah, I'll piggyback. So Lofty Blast, you have zip code blast as well as listing blast. That's a great tool because it's super easy for you to use. So if you're looking at easy point of use, it's great. It's also very effective because you're using your listings to get more listings. So think about it this way. You're going to get hired. You're going to basically sell your value to the client as you'll market it on social media, which will help you get buyers for that listing. but it will also help you pick up obviously buyer clients and promote your listings. So you're killing essentially 3 birds with 1 stone and essentially using your listings to get more clients. Social media, again, like Tristan said, it comes down to consistency. Most people will just do things for like a couple posts or a couple mail pieces and never fully get immersed in that one channel. Stay committed to it, do it better until you can't do it any better, then do more of it, and then maybe try something new. But if you just mastered one of these strategies, you could dramatically grow your business. Now, in terms of social media, I'll just give you 2 other tips, which, I mean, maybe Tristan should be the one giving these since you're the social media guru. But first is don't care about the ego metrics, the number of likes. If you put out a post and let's say you only got 9 people to engage with that post, but then 3 of them became clients, would that be successful? On the social media side, it wouldn't be a super viral post. But what would your business look like if you picked up 3 new clients per week just off one video that you took 30 minutes to shoot and post? So don't mind the ego metrics, especially when you're starting off. And then secondly, when you are making those posts and like Tristan said, showing your face, I want you to keep something in mind that the average person only will look at the first 2 to 3 seconds before they decide if they want to even view it. So the initial call out and the initial hook is the most important thing. In fact, if you're actually going to spend money to promote a post, 90 cents of every dollar would be spent in the headline. And I'll give you a quick little anecdote to illustrate that. Dean Graziosi, who's close with Tony Robbins, wrote a book a few years ago, and he was putting together this huge marketing campaign. And so his idea from his marketing team was they were doing an interview with Larry King. And they shot the whole video and then they were going to splice it up into a marketing campaign and post it out. And they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on the marketing campaign, and it was a complete flop. And in trying to figure out what went wrong, they compared their ad campaign here to what they have had success with in the past. And they realized that they had just butchered the first few seconds in terms of the call out and the initial hook. And so Dean actually set up a mock studio to resemble Larry King Live or Larry King Tonight, whatever the show was called, flew Larry in just to reshoot the first 30 seconds. And then they sold millions and millions of books from that reshoot. So the first few seconds are the most important. Give people a reason of give people a reason of why they should listen. And then secondly, address them directly who you're talking to so they know that it'll resonate with them.
I like that. Good response, man. Good response. Brady, anything you want to add to that?
I would only say that it's a reoccurring thread here. I'm noticing from Robert that the hook, right? The offer, the value proposition is what's going to define your engagements and your ability to convert somebody that's anonymous out there into your market into somebody that trusts you and wants to do business with you. So as we're breaking down all of these strategies, the challenge for everyone in attendance is being hypercritical of your hook, right? What is your offer? What is your ability to differentiate yourself through the story that you're telling, through the partnerships that you have, through the social media presence that you're conducting? That should be our guiding line. So I just wanted to make sure I piggybacked on what Robert's alluded to a few times.
I like that, man. All right, number 4, what you got for us?
Number 4. So this one is touching on the increase in open houses that we'll likely see as interest rates continue to fall. I think the Lofty open house registration tool is really nice for having a digital sign-in and digital lead capture at an open house event. I also think that this opens up the conversation to tie in how we can better partner with AI to help automate the follow-up from an open house event. Capturing somebody that walks in and getting their first name, last name, and email is great. But if we're not tapping in AI to help follow up with that relationship, to help nurture that relationship, or the dozens of people that have been captured, right? Our odds of converting those folks into an actual conversation and an engagement fall. So I do think that open houses are going to continue to be really important to help pick up more future listings, right? Just like what Robert had said about the listing promotion or the zip code blast, right? Turn one listing into multiple listings. I also wanted to point out the importance of partnering with AI to help follow up with those leads that you're capturing from an open house or from any other point in your funnels as well.
Good point.
So far we've looked at a few strategies, and the benefits of direct mail and the benefits of social media advertising are your reach. You can reach a massive audience, and you can get a lot of leverage essentially on your time. However, the benefit to the open house leads are that they're going to be much higher converting. Your reach is going to be smaller because you're going to be limited to the people that walk in those houses. But the people that walk in those houses are demonstrating the highest level of intent that they're looking to buy a home. If you went to any other industry and you're like, okay, you have everyone around the round table and you got the whole sales team and the marketing team, the lead generation apparatus, and it's like, okay, how do we find our clients and how do we reach them? Well, if you ask that question yourself, if you're looking to represent buyers, where can you find buyers? The obvious answer is at open houses. And so if you are not drowning in business, why are you not fighting to host an open house every weekend? And the tool within Lofty, which is the open house form, is the easiest tool and is also the tool that we have the widest utilization of because it saves data entry. It actually increased the rate at which you capture valid data as opposed to giving them like a sign-in sheet where they'll just write bogus. There's different data validation steps on the open house form that actually induce clients to actually provide a valid email and a valid phone number. And so again, if you're looking to reach buyers, the open house is the marketplace for buyers where you can go reach the people that are demonstrating the highest level of intent to actually buy.
So
Listen,
this
if I
is-
was breaking into a new market, it'd be open houses and social media that I do the quickest. Those be the two.
So one of the things I like about Lofty with the open house situation, I love the form, I love the QR code. One of the things that I've used to get better engagement, and it does cost a little bit of money, but most everybody likes coffee. I think it was something like 80% or more of Americans have at least one cup of coffee in the morning. So I pretty much mainline it all day long. So I'm in a different class. But one of the strategies I used mostly during COVID was I would print off just a simple sheet. I had one of those like little plastic, angled holders, and I would use the text codes in Lofty at different open houses for basically voting on where they thought the price was. Okay. So I would have like too high one, just right one, too low one. And instead of a sign-in sheet, I would have them vote for basically where they thought the price was in enter their, enter their number to basically text that code, and then they would be entered to win like, $20 gift card to Starbucks or $10, wherever it is, right? That got a lot of engagement because number one, I got feedback from visitors about basically like where the price was, and it was something where people love to give their opinions, right? I mean, look at Yelp. It's just a bunch of, it's organized noise, but it's a bunch of noise. People love to hear themselves talk about, what they think is great and what they think sucks. So it was really, really good engagement there. And the other thing is typically in Wisconsin, there's 2 stories to homes. It still works with a ranch, but either at the end of the house, like the master bedroom, or on the second floor somewhere, I would have a separate one, and that text code triggered the AI bot, the AI assistant. So it was just a random thing, and I would like change up the call to action a little bit, like house isn't what you expect or whatever, or something like if you're bored and want to chat with somebody because you're lonely, text whatever code. So in Lofty, I don't know if a lot of people know this, I played around with this for the last few years. If you set up a text code in Lofty and you leave the response blank, so nothing in that body, that will actually trigger the AI assistant to engage them as a new lead. So having the text code like I'm bored or something like that, you text that, the response would be blank, and that will trigger the AI assistant to engage and qualify them as a new lead. So maybe they're not interested in that house, and that way you can also keep track of through the text codes and things. You can keep track of who voted on the pricing, and then also who saw your on board sign and engage that way. So you can kind of have a little bit of fun at open houses with the different features in Lofty and play around with some lead capture tools and things like that to kind of make it a little bit more fun for everybody.
I like that. All right, Brady.
All right, we'll bring it home with strategy number 5. And it dovetails actually into a couple of the comments that have been made throughout the course of this webinar, right? But I think educating your clients now in terms of what their buying and selling power is, that can be accomplished in Lofty in a couple different ways. The first is the most common strategy, which is surrounding your leads with property alerts, right? 93% of all of your website engagement is going to come from delivering property alerts. Lofty takes them back to the website, right? It's always best to take a lead back to your site versus going to the MLS. That's why we send property alerts from Lofty. That's why they're dynamic. That's why they're intelligent, right? The other 2 strategies of educating your database would be market snapshots within Lofty. And a market snapshot's a little different than sending a new listing out to a buyer. The point of a market snapshot is to show someone that's thinking about selling. It could also be a passive. It's about thinking about showing those folks the listings that have sold in their neighborhood. So, property alerts were showing what's new to the market. Market snapshots are showing what's just sold and the price point that those homes have gone for. So now you can start to get this train of thought, this vein of thought that, now might be a good time to list because a home around the corner for me just listed for more than I thought it would, right? Or maybe slightly less, but empowering your clients with that kind of information will help them be more inclined to transact. The last feature in Lofty would be our home reports. And that's how we can automate the delivery of someone's equity that they have in their property, right? There's a lot of tools now for showing how much money we have in our home, how much equity we have in our home. But Lofty has that home report to help automate those values to your leads on a monthly database or a quarterly. So that kind of thing, again, is all just about surrounding your leads with information, which helps make you more synonymous with the buying process or the selling process when that point of inflection does occur.
Yeah, I love that. Let me quickly just show something. Let me see if I can go through because we had a couple of questions as to where to find everything. And let me just go. I'm going to share my screen and then you can reshare yours. Okay. Let me grab this so people understand where to go. So here I am. Let me just register later. Lofty, right? You go to the top, you see marketing. All this stuff pops up. You guys were looking for the open house form right there. This is what it would look like. You can just pop it open, add a picture, street address, all the information, the questionnaires, and then whatever you want to do here. Here's where they were talking about send welcome text to registered leads, right? And then you can assign the lead routing as well. The other piece that we were asking, somebody was asking about was the Lofty Blast. It's also there. So you're also taken care of there as well. So it's under marketing. Don't lose it. And if you have any questions, you can always go to the little question button and you have this learning center right over here, which is absolutely a lifesaver. That's where we put all of our new agents to go in and say, hey, you're going to learn everything there. So just wanted to share that because it's a good reminder for everybody. All right, Brady, back to number 5.
That's right. That's right. No, well, I think I would love to hear maybe from Adam or for Robert. Are we approaching? Are we doing things like home reports or the market snapshots? I think everybody does the property alerts. That's something that's been going on. But how are we trying to educate our database a little bit differently here?
We are huge users of the property alerts, market reports, and market snapshots. They're the easiest point of use tool to use in the system. And the return is huge. They have very high open rates. Property alerts and market reports, we're typically looking 50+% month in and month out. So we actually made it a default setting across our entire enterprise. Any user, when they import leads, it will default to sending a market report and a market snapshot and a property alert if it's a buyer. So they're very effective. Now, we're actually also rolling out home reports right now, and it's actually being provided by the mortgage company Moxie. So we really believe in that because, again, we're trying to provide value across the term of home ownership from the mortgage side. And so every time rates come down and they refi, and like we're saving one client $450 a month right now at no cost to them. So every time they pay their mortgage bill, they're going to be thinking about that agent. That agent helped me save $450 because when we tell them, hey, we're doing a no cost refinance, we're going to eat the cost. And it's only because you worked with that agent as a certified partner. So we're setting home reports too. We're actually rolling them out across the board this week.
I like
I
it.
do things
How-
a little. Oh, go ahead.
No, how about you, Adam?
Okay. So I do things a little different. I don't utilize the market reports, but I do take full advantage of the property alerts and the market snapshots. So the snapshots, I use those as kind of like a what's happening. The reports are more like what happened. So it's kind of like a recap of the last month. And Lofty sends it out on the 5th of the month, which is good. The snapshots that I use, I put them in the status of basically anything that's under contract but hasn't closed yet, because I'm using those to basically give people an idea of what's actually being in demand as far as receiving offers and negotiating terms to move things forward. The reason I don't do market reports typically anymore, at least on an automated basis, maybe onesie twosie I'll do it, but typically not, is because most as informative and as simplified as the data is with Lofty, there still is some confusion about how that actually affects things. So what I do instead is I set up a recurring smart plan on the 5th of the month, so that I still have that timing out there, and it gives me a few days, but I send that out to my database that's basically in a prospect pipeline. I don't do it for leads, I do it for prospects and clients. And what I do is I offer a marketing or a market condition consultation. So instead of sending out an email or a graph about like, okay, well, here's the months of inventory, here's the absorption rate, this is like, a lot of people don't understand that. So instead of sending out things and giving possible confusion there, I reach out to the people that are like going to be transacting in essentially the next like 3 to 4 months typically, and we have a conversation about what that all means. And I take more of like an advisory and strategy approach to when I'm dealing with prospects and especially clients. So I will set somebody up on a market report once they have the automated one, once they sit down and have a market condition consultation with me, then they can get the automated thing. But I don't set that up as just a normal course of thing when they register and they go out. I used to do that in the past, and there was just a lot of mixed results. So my strategy of what I've been doing the last few years of, you do a consultation first about the market conditions, and then you get put on that manually. That seems to be a lot more effective, because now they have a base understanding of how this affects things. And now when they get the updated information for the next month, they can already, have a better understanding of what's going on. So I do it a little bit different, but.
How about you, man? Brady, what do you think from everything that you're seeing out there?
The tools are out there, right? If it's social media marketing, if it's direct mail marketing, if it's the forging of new and improved relationships. But I just think I'd be remiss if I didn't again call out the fact that it's important to not mistake activity for productivity, right? Sending out a property alert is good, but if it's not getting you the kind of results that you want, it's just activity, right? Having social media posts occur automatically is good, but if you don't have a compelling ask, if you don't have a compelling narrative, if you don't have a compelling call to action, it's more just activity, right? So I just think it's important to, number one, embrace these strategies. Lofty's got a great suite of solutions here to help you expand your foothold, right? But it's really falls on us as sales professionals to question, how good is my call to action, right? How good is my hook? How am I able to differentiate myself from anybody else in my market, in my neighborhood that I serve? That's what's going to take all of these strategies and actually make them much, much more effective.
I love that. All right. Anything in closing, gentlemen? Or is that a wrap? And everyone listening in, yes, this is recorded. Again, we'll provide that. And then if you're questioning whether or not you should join Lofty, just do it. All of us have it. We've had it for years. We've had it since before it was Lofty. It was Chime. And so we're still here. Just go ahead and join. There's the link. Anything in closing, guys?
There's one question. Can I in the Q&A thing or whatever about the Wisconsin mortgage broker I was talking about, can I mention them live or?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's I love their name. It's mortgagenerds.com. They're out of Appleton, Wisconsin, and they are they're licensed in a few different states, but they are based in Appleton, Wisconsin, and they are absolutely amazing, especially for VA loans. If you got somebody in Wisconsin that needs a VA loan, just put them on the list. They'll be fine.
I like it. And then Robert, I know you've got Moxie. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's
Right.
moxiemortgage.com. I also, if you guys found, we didn't go too in depth on it, but I do have a series of videos coming out next week breaking down the housing shortage issue, as well as the policy proposals that are circulating right now. So if you're looking to see, have any indication on where the market may be heading and trying to craft offers around that you can use on social media or through the smart plans, that will be on my social media. You can find that on Instagram. I'll go ahead and drop that in the chat box if you guys want to hit a follow, but those will be coming out next week. I think those will be pretty valuable in you guys trying to understand a little bit better about the sources of these issues, the constraints, and what the policy proposals would actually do if they took effect, and how you could use them to capture more clients.
I like that. All right. In closing, just remember, I'm going to show you one more time, everyone, because it is very important. Let me just find it. There's that section. Here it is. Lofty Learning Course. You can, everything that we have here, everything we've talked about, you can find here where to go, whether it's landing pages, whether it's AI or autoresponders or open house landing pages, whatever it is. They've got it here and you can expand on it too. There's other things that are inside of this as well. So just be sure to go to the little question mark in the top right and you'll find this and then you can go and have some fun over the weekend, because if you aren't using it to its full potential, you're wasting your money.
Yep.
This is where the fallback is every time I've seen it in CRMs. It's like, but I'm like, listen, you're not using it. That's the problem. Right.
Yep. Another good resource too in there is just above that in the question mark menu is the help center. Just type in a search of whatever feature you want, like text codes, and there will be articles that pop up, and it will walk you through with like little video clips, screenshots. It'll tell you exactly how the logic works for different
Is
operations
it
there.
the show me how? Is it that the one? Let me see if I can
No,
pop
so
it up.
question mark menu and then help center.
Let me go here. Question mark right
Question
on the
mark.
top.
And then help center, second link from the top,
Oh,
right there.
okay, got it. Because I was gonna go like show me how. Be like,
Yeah,
boom.
show me how is good. There's a lot more in-depth things in the help center. Like if you pick there and you just put like AI, like type AI assistant in the search or text code or something in the landing page or whatever, and then you have a whole list of things, and they just have, and they're updated regularly when features update. Like they just did a big push on Monday. All that stuff relating to that is already done. So 22 days ago it was updated. So 5 years ago when I started using Lofty, that's how I taught myself the system. I was playing around with it and I was like, okay, wait, how does this thing work? I would go to the help center and do a search for the feature, read all about it, and learn. So the learning center and these articles are absolutely important.
I like it. Listen, Thanksgiving break's coming. You're gonna have to spend that whole week doing this. Robert.
Sponge up
Yeah,
that Lofty knowledge.
just to close out, like I think it was Adam or Tristan, when we first joined Lofty, it was Chime. So we've been on it for a few years. Before that, we were the biggest client on one of the other very large CRM companies, and we've surveyed all of them. In fact, I had a call last week with a very large brokerage that operates on a different system that couldn't do a fraction of what you can do in just a standard base package with Lofty. Any one of the tools that we cover today, there's dozens more, have the potential, just one of them have the potential to help you make thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars if you just learn how to use it and master that and then move on to the next one. And so I encourage you just to watch through those videos, pick one, get really good at that one thing. And I guarantee you, if you put in the work, it will make a huge impact on your business.
Love it. All right, guys. Thanks for doing this. I
All
like
right.
having me.
I like the 4 squares. I like this, guys, or rectangle. I like this. This was good. Good job, Brady. Good job on putting this together and bringing the crew in.
Thanks for bringing us on board. Thanks again, everybody.
You bet.
Have a good day.
Have a good one, everyone.